Hey y'all, welcome to another video. So here we've got the NorthStar Towable Boom Broadcast and Spot Sprayer. This one I got from Amazon. It's a 21-gallon tank for water and chemical use. So we've got about 1.25 acres, and so I got this to save a lot of time, hopefully, with the spray in the yard for weeds and bugs. Let's unbox it, see what we got inside. And you'll see I also got a battery and the battery charger, which I'll explain more later. All right, just finished unboxing everything. So from the first look, everything looks really high quality, really well made. Of course, we'll see once we actually start using it. But to start, we've got the 2 tires. We've got the booms, the spot sprayer here, axle for the tires, the actual tow hitch, the cart assembly, the hose, the pump here, the tank itself, and then all of these parts, along with the instructions I'm holding, were shipped inside of the tank. The instructions don't have a tools list, so here's everything that you need. A wrench, some type of clippers for the zip ties, a Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, some type of blade, and then 1/2-inch socket wrench. Just finished step 2, so just to catch up, we have the tow hitch now attached to the cart assembly with these 3 bolts here and the 3 nuts. And then we sat that on top of the actual tank that we turned upside down. And there were 6 smaller bolts that went into the threaded holes that were already in the tank. And those are just up to 5 foot-pounds torqued. And then we also have the axle still inside, and then we screwed on the cap here. So now we've got the sprayer turned over, we've got the wheels on with the pins through the axle. The washers took forever to find. They were actually stored on this tube, suction tube, in the packaging. And then we put the suction tube through, and you see there's a filter. So you have to take the filter off, wet the grommet to put the suction tube through, and then put the filter back on. Hose wrap assembly installed here. It's just the 4 bolts, and these 2 pieces were wrapped together in part of the package that was inside of the tank when it was delivered. Easy to assemble. Almost done with the pump assembly onto the tank. This is the main pump here. We put this fitting on the side, and there's this little locking lever. So you'll undo this, take out the shipping plug that's in there, put this fitting in, and push it back to lock into place. Similar thing on this side. Then we actually attach it to the tank, and there's 4 screws And what I didn't notice until after is that there are 3 screws that are 1 1/8 inches and 1 screw that's 1 1/4 inches. So before you put this fitting on the pump into the tank, you want to put a couple of the screws in to line up the holes, because that was pretty difficult, and make sure that the longer screw is going to go through this little tether here that's attached to the cap. So it'll go through the tether, through the pump, and then we'll screw it into the actual tank. Just finished installing the booms and the draw hose assembly. We have the left boom here. It's just the 2 bolts. Same thing on the right, the 2 bolts. The left boom is the one that had the 2 tubes with the T. And then we just tighten it here with the hose clamp that we slipped on. And the right side, it was just a single tube. And again, just the hose clamp there. And then we also had the draw tube hose assembly. That's this L-shaped black tube. So it just connects the hose to this tube here that goes down inside to the filter, and then the 2 clamps on either side. Just finished the spot sprayer assembly. That was a little confusing because the directions really don't explain it well. This was simple, just attaching the actual hose to the sprayer, just with a hose clamp. Then you come here and it wasn't explained very well at all. So we just, after we connect the hose to the sprayer, the other end attaches to this elbow. And then there was this part here that was separate. And you have to bend it onto the hose to tighten it down. The hose wraps around here, around these brackets that we installed earlier. And this isn't explained at all in the instructions. So the hose wraps around these 2, and then the actual spot sprayer just pops right in here, and the other end slips in there. The last part of the assembly was just attaching this hitch bracket with the 2 bolts and the 2 nuts there. The actual mower that I'm attaching this to is out in the shed, so for now it's just, I just placed it here, and then I can adjust it later. But you want to have a little bit of an incline up, so then the fluid will go down towards the back, which is where the actual suction is. All right, y'all, we're in the backyard. Got it hooked up to the mower. So I ended up actually swapping out the alligator clips for these connections here. I kind of jerry-rigged a little clamp for the battery to sit on. It's clamped to the actual tow hitch here. And then a bunch of bungee cords. It's all set. And now the wires are screwed into the actual battery, so they're not going anywhere. One thing I'm probably gonna do, along with buying a motorcycle battery holder that I saw somebody in the Amazon comments buy and use, is move the actual on-off switch. Because for whatever reason, I assume because this was really made to connect to batteries on the mower itself, but with this electric mower, I'm not going to be doing that. That's why I bought this battery separate. So I think what I'm going to do is move this back further so I can have the on and off switch up closer to me while I'm driving, because for now I'm gonna have to just leave it on while I drive. So we're ready to go. I did end up having to move up the hitch so that there is that slight decline to the back of the trailer. We're filling up the tank with water right now. I've brought the booms out. Just a matter of undoing this clip here, pulling it out, and it's just a quick lever. Made sure these are both tight and the sprayers are pointed straight down. Here we go, let's turn it on. It looks like it gets to about 7-8 feet, and then there, it's can't really see it at all on the camera, but there's about a few inches of overlap, which is great. Just finished spraying the yard. Overall, it worked out perfectly. The battery setup, I didn't think it would be permanent, but it didn't move at all, so I may just leave it since I'm not going to be using it very often. Definitely going to be moving that switch so I can turn it on and off while sitting down. This tank was filled to the very top, and I had a slight bit of overlap from what I could tell, and our backyard's about 3/4 of an acre, and the 21 gallons covered the 3/4 of an acre perfectly. I'll link everything that I bought, the battery, the charger, the sprayer, down below so you can check it out. I think all in, the setup cost about 400 bucks, but it's just this one time it saved about 8 hours of work. If I did this by hand, I would assume. NorthStar has a wide range of sizing for the tanks. This was, I think, right in the middle of size at 21 gallons. The next one up was, I want to say, around 30 gallons, and it was about 100 bucks more. I thought that was a little overkill for what I needed. So again, highly recommend. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and if you have any questions, let me know.